Create a class, operator, loadout, whatever you want to call it, has no doubt gone through multiple major changes throughout the years. So with today's video, I want to look back at all the different variations and see which one I, as well as all of you, might have liked the most. Of course, starting at the beloved COD 4. COD 4 was no doubt the simplest of all Call of Duty games, being most likely a lot of players' first game in the series, as well as the kickstart of Call of Duty's popularity. There's no doubt something super nostalgic about COD 4's create a class system. Even with it being so minimal, COD 4 would feature a class system of just one primary, one secondary, a lethal or tactical slot, and 3 separate perk slots. Your primary and secondary could only have one attachment if the gun allowed it. Like the Desert Eagle was the only pistol without attachments, as all the other pistols could equip a suppressor, or the MP44 assault rifle having no attachments either. There was no separate lethal and tactical slots like newer games, and perks were very different, with some perks giving you things like an RPG or claymores, or things like Martyrdom or Last Stand. This system was no doubt the perfect start for the create a class system we see today. I wouldn't say I missed this system per se, as newer create a classes are just far superior, but it is no doubt nostalgic looking at. World at War was very similar, but you could see some instant changes. The weapons stayed the same, with one primary and one secondary having one attachment slots for eligible primary weapons, but the secondaries would have no attachments. As well, now there was a separate slot for lethals and tacticals in the class system. They would still feature 3 perk slots, but also had a vehicle perk slot, as World at War had vehicles on some of the maps. Still pretty similar to COD 4's system, with perks still able to give you things like bouncing betties and among other things. Modern Warfare 2 refined a lot of things players would use in the create a class system. Primaries and secondaries still had only one attachment, but now lethals were just labeled as equipment, taking things like claymores out of the perk pool, also refining perks, adding more, and creating pro perks. Upgraded versions of perks you would obtain through using the perks in multiplayer matches. Tacticals were labeled special grenades, and death streaks were added, taking old perks like Last Stand and Martyrdom and making them only become active after dying so many times. This was also the first game to add the bling perk, which would allow you to have 2 attachments on your primary weapon. Black Ops stayed relatively close to Modern Warfare 2, a slot for primary weapons, secondary, lethal, tactical, and 3 perks, but also had a slot for equipment with things like claymores and C4s in there to be held alongside grenades. It gave just one more thing for players to have in their create a class arsenal. Guns still had one attachment slot and pro perks were still in the game, only big difference being this game's use of COD points to unlock these things in your class instead of them just becoming readily available as soon as unlocked like older titles. This system of class setup was seeming to be the main standard of what was to be known for COD games. You would have your guns, grenades, and flashbangs with perks to boost certain playstyles. It didn't really seem like they would ever change the system. That's because the next year, Modern Warfare 3 would in fact keep almost exactly to the same system as the games before, only just adding a few new things to the system itself. Primaries and secondary slot, though primaries now had a weapon proficiency slot alongside the attachment slot. These would be things like kick, impact, or focus, just basic weapon enhancements like kick reducing weapon recoil. Lethals, tacticals, and 3 perk slots were all a part of the class system, but Modern Warfare 3 also opted to include your kill streaks in your create a class. Normally you would just choose 3 streaks and that would be your overall kill streaks for any multiplayer match in any class you pick, but with this system now you could create a class specific streak, and with Modern Warfare 3 changing kill streaks and adding support streaks and specialist streaks where support would just rack up and not be reset to 0 at death, and having streaks that were more support than to use to kill people in this category, it was a nice change to class systems and made classes feel more specific to the player and their playstyle. Black Ops 2 came the next year and had the biggest change to classes yet, giving us fans the pick 10 system. With this create a class system, you could choose 10 items out of primary, secondary, attachments, perks, lethals, and tacticals. They also added something new known as wild cards. These would give you access to things like being able to use 2 of a certain perk, or 2 primary weapons, or more attachments like the bling perk. This game would be the first to have players be able to fully customize their class around whatever style they were wanting to play, whether that be running and gunning or sitting back and sniping, as well as being the first game with a combat knife, making knifing only more viable than ever. Pick 10 system was new and fresh, and most enjoyed it as it let you customize so much more than the games prior. Next was Ghost, and it kept the same pick 10 style to its classes. Though no wild cards, the perks would have a point system, 1 point for some and upwards to 5 for others, so this was the first game you weren't limited to just 3 perks as a base standing to the create a class. Lethals and tacticals stayed as usual, and Ghost kept the strike package for your perks in the game. They were assigned to your class like Modern Warfare 3 before. Advanced Warfare was next and had a system that seemingly combined the create a class systems from the few games before it, as this game was created by Sledgehammer Games, and not Infinity Ward and Treyarch like before. Pick 10 still being implemented though, now a pick 13 to combine the kill streaks into the system. Wild cards were present, but now you could sacrifice a kill streak slot for something for your weapon or maybe another perk. This was the first game that you could have 4 kill streaks instead of the base 3 like all of the others with this pick 13 system. Next up was Black Ops 3, and had basically the same system from Black Ops 2, a pick 10 with weapons, lethals, tacticals, perks, and wild cards being implemented, but this would be the first game where a weapon could have upwards to 5 attachments on the gun. Through the primary gunfighter 1, 2, and 3 wild cards, the players could add 1 attachment per wild card to an already base of 2 attachments. Gun customization was becoming bigger and better than ever as time went on. Black Ops was known for taking things from older titles and improving them over replacing them, and this shows with this pick 10 system. Next was Infinity Ward, and it featured. After that we got World War II, which changed the create a class system a fair amount by adding in divisions. Divisions take forward several concepts from the older create a class system. The evolution ensures players having a much more guided path through multiplayer progression. Players could choose their primary, secondary, and all equipments, lethals, and tacticals. However, attributes decided by your divisions, such as passive skills and upgrades, will be tied down by the route you've chosen to pursue. Divisions were pretty fresh and fit with the World War II being the first game to return to form and bring boots on the ground back into COD. I wasn't the biggest fan of the divisions, but classes still remained mainly the same. Black Ops 4 was exactly like Black Ops 3, mirroring it almost exactly, just different perks and wild cards or whatever to be used. Next year came Modern Warfare 2019. This game had a major overhaul of weapon customization, and with that changed the create a class system. Gone was the pick 10 system, but now at base you could attach upwards to 5 attachments to your weapon. Taking player customization to the head of the class system, weapons would be changed and modified to be completely different weapons with this system. You still had your basic lethal, tacticals, and perk slots, but the gunsmith really shines through as one of the better things to come to this game. Though the insane amount of reticles was a glaring issue, I'm glad they fixed that with this year's Modern Warfare 2. Cold War came next and showed players that the gunsmith was staying around. This game's create a class system was very similar to Modern Warfare, though it did implement the wildcard system from older Black Ops titles. With this wildcard system, you could have more than 5 attachments in the gunsmith, making weapons insanely customizable, being able to take one gun and make it unrecognizable to itself. This game also took the field upgrades from Modern Warfare 2019 and added them to the class system. Field upgrades were just earnable things in-game like ammo box or a trophy system, among other things. Vanguard was next and was almost a carbon copy of Cold War, with gunsmith, lethals, tacticals, and perks all being in the create a class system. This system really seems to be the best of all the create a class systems we have had up until now. 3 perks were a standard alongside your lethals and tacticals, and the new gunsmith made weapon customization fun and new. Now 2 people using the same gun could have 2 completely different kits on their weapons and could come at you in 2 different ways. Class making stayed fun and is something I'm glad they haven't butchered to death like other things in Call of Duty. Also with this video, I am glad to finally be able to add Modern Warfare 2 into the script. Modern Warfare 2 kept the gunsmith as well as your basic lethals and tacticals for your class. Field orders were alongside the class, but with this game, perks were changed into a perk package. With this, you could pick 2 base perks that you would start the match alongside a bonus and ultimate perk that you would earn in-game instead of just spawning with all perks like older games. Perks have changed a lot through the years, warranting their own video, but I don't mind the new system, as a lot of players were too reliant on perks to have a shred of skill. The class system changed a lot throughout the years, but still stayed true to its original self. The pick 10 came and went. I prefer the newer system as I love how much I can change and alter my weapons, but let me know how you feel. Is there a specific class system you like the most? Let me know down below. But it's been Ricto, and thanks for watching.